it's tea. At this rate, I'll be getting something of a reputation, even more than the one I've already got. They'll be thinking I'm teetotal next. Well, today's the first video that I've done on the subject that I'm going to feature for about 11 months. And it's a subject and several species that you may well have forgotten about if you've been a regular viewer to this channel. I'm talking ants. In particular, ants that I've been keeping in captivity. Yes, I have still got them, but in terms of trials and tribulations, you could say, not everything has gone as smoothly or as well as I'd hoped. It's still very much a learning curve keeping ants, and I still have one species which I featured on the last sort of progress video still in a test tube. In the case of some species, or at least two species, it was a case of 2 steps forward and 2 steps back, and little progress was made. This is a new one, and I'll show you this new queen a bit later on in this video. But now it's time for an update, and you'll see why there's not been many updates. Well, this is the same Camponotus ligniperda as I've featured in a couple of previous videos. She got to the stage where we had workers, a couple of workers, lost those workers, gained another couple of workers. They were incredibly funny, didn't behave naturally at all, didn't even seem to feed, and so she's back, or still in a test tube setup. She does have a small amount of brood, and she seems very healthy enough. Something has gone wrong somewhere. I'm not entirely sure what it is. I think it may well be a heat problem, but I really don't know. There are 3 species that are in test tubes, and this Camponotus ligniperda, the large red ant Manica rubida, is still in a test tube. That's another situation similar to this, but she does have 3 workers. It's been a case of gaining workers and losing workers with this species, Manica rubida, and that's where we are with them, at least with those. The ant that I originally showed you, this one is a new one. I picked this up as a queen last year, quite late last year, and she's only just produced a first brood or first lot of eggs, and this is Formica fusca. This one is work in progress, and she appears to be doing quite well at the moment, but she's not going to be in this setup for much longer. That's because I've decided to sort of invest a little bit in these ants. I have 3 colonies which are in completely new setups, and they are Mesobarbarus, the harvester ant, and 2 colonies of Lasius niger, which are now just gone through their 2nd winter, so the founding queens are into their 3rd year. They're doing quite well, but not as well as I would have thought. I expected that the increase in colony, the number of workers, would be far more rapid than it is, and again I think it's down to how I've kept them. I've maybe not kept them warm enough during the summer months. They don't get any sunshine in here, despite this being a south facing room, and I think that's a lot of the problem. The brood isn't getting heated up or warmed up enough for it to grow at a decent rate or a faster rate than normal. But they've not been kept cold. They have all just had a period of several months in the shed, so they've all just gone through a hibernation. And when I checked on them a couple of weeks ago, they were all still reasonably active. In fact, the harvester ants were very active, hence why I brought them out a little bit earlier than what I did last year. So we'll have a look at the new types of nests. Well, the colonies that are doing the best, the harvester ants and the two Lassius niger colonies, are now in some new setups. Gone are the test tubes kept in this or all three outer worlds. It took a while for the colonies to move from those test tubes into these new Ytong nests, but after about a week all have now gone into these nests, and I do keep a piece of card just over them during the daytime and when I'm not observing them, just to keep them enclosed and so that they feel safe in the darkness. But I've been very, very pleased with these. I've looked at these type of nests before. There is a small reservoir at the end here to which you can put some water in, and that water then soaks into the Ytong. The Ytong is a building material. You can get it in like a brick form. You can make your own nests, but quite frankly, don't bother. It's far easier, cleaner to just order these nests. There are different types of nests. There's some that are smaller than this, of which I've got some more coming, and then there are some which are larger. They may seem to be quite expensive, but it's well worth a bit more money. And these ants are now successfully housed in these nests, and I think we're going to get some progress now during the course of 2025. But I'm very pleased with these. I've always kept ant colonies in various different containers and mediums, and to be honest, this medium Ytong seems to be the best. I'm quite happy with it. Well, here's the first and indeed the smallest of the two Lassius niger colonies that I still have. I did lose one last year, unfortunately, but I'm hoping for better things with both these two colonies. It took both Lassius niger colonies a while to go from the test tubes and take up residence in the new Ytong nests, but both have done, and both appear very well settled now and are slowly starting to forage in their new outworlds. This colony, for some reason, has remained quite small, but there's a lot of brood there. The queen you may well be able to make out on the right hand side of that central chamber, and hopefully numbers will increase. Well, here's the larger of the two, very obviously notably larger than the other colony of Lassius niger. These have settled in nicely. They've started to bring food in, and the colony, more workers and good amount of brood here. Once again, the queen is somewhere on the right hand side being attended by the workers, and as the weather warms up outside, all these colonies will start to become more active. Marvellous things to watch are ants. Absolutely fascinating. And although with artificial nests you don't get to watch the ants build the nests, it's still great to watch them attend the brood, go out looking for food in the outworld, bringing that food back into the nest. There's a close-up of the ants, and you can clearly see the queen here. I still never know whether to keep the ants covered up or keep them uncovered and let them become accustomed to the light. They don't get direct sunlight, except they will get some in summer early in the morning if I'm not careful, but I would love to know others' experiences and what, I know what I've done wrong. I'm pretty sure what I've done wrong. I just don't think that they've been kept warm enough. I am thinking of getting a heat pad just to give that little bit of warmth, but that little bit of warmth may well be better in the early part of the year and in sort of towards the autumn. But they are fascinating things to watch, ants. And I think this is the best setup that I've had, to be honest. The ants look well fed. The gasters, you can see, are swollen. So I'm hopeful that we're going to have success. Some of you may well be surprised that I've still got these, and the reason I haven't done a recent update is that, to be honest, I was quite embarrassed that the colonies hadn't increased. You seem to think that they'll increase at a rate of knots, but these have been very much slowed down. But looking at these now, I'm very pleased with the choice in going for these Ytong nests. And this is a closer look at the harvester ants. Mr. Barbarous, you may well be able to make the female out, the queen out. Much larger bodied. So I'm just hopeful. These don't look so clear because of a bit of condensation, a bit of moisture, because I replenished the little reservoirs at the end of the Ytong nest with water yesterday. I think adding some once a week just gives a bit of moisture, and with the nests being the size that they are, the ants have got the choice of where to put the brood. I'm very pleased overall with these new Ytong nests. I think that this year is going to see a big difference. I may well get a heat pad just to give these nests a little bit extra heat, and that will encourage more egg production from the queens, but also will encourage quicker growth from the larvae. Fascinating things. I would love it to, if I can have successful colonies. Something that I've tried ever since I was very young. I could never resist collecting ants. I still can't even now. It's something that's been with me lifelong. I don't know why, I don't know where it came from. Don't think it came from anywhere. It was just in me. And hopefully these ants in the test tube setups can also prosper into these kind of containers and setups. Hopefully it's going to be a lot of fun during the coming months.